Since January 2016, millions of players have enjoyed playing Clash Royale. After all, it's a great competitive game, and without it, where would I be, you know? But Supercell doesn't go without its flaws. There's been a few times where it's been put on the spotlight for its huge mistakes. And, well, here's 10 of them. Before we begin though, just a disclaimer, this video is in no way meant to be hateful. Alright? I love Supercell. Their game is fun, I play all of them pretty much, including Heyday. And they're a great company, regardless of my, 30 episodes of hate series. I still enjoy their games and they're just the best. So, you know, just clearing any confusion out there before anyone starts to hate on me for hating on the company. Yeah. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Number 1. Gem Rush. Firstly, what is Gem Rush? Well, to explain it briefly, it's basically Gold Rush and Crown Rush, but instead of gold or crowns, it's, well, gems. Every time you destroy a tower, you would get gems. The same as the other Rush events, just a different type of resource, you know? But lately, it seems not many people know of its existence. So where is it? When's the last time we had it in the game? It seems there's a more deeper reason why this special event hasn't showed up in ages. The last time this event ever showed up was in February 2018, nearly 2.5 years ago. To put that into perspective, Clan Wars still didn't exist, and geez, we've had Clan Wars for quite a while. Sadly, we don't exactly know why. Supercell hasn't really said anything about it, and yeah. It doesn't go without speculation though. Many people have said maybe it wasn't very good for the Clash Royale economy. Others have said that Supercell was losing money by having these events, so they decided to stop them. No one knows for sure. These might not be true, but they're just speculation. You know, everyone's going to have somewhat of an explanation of their own. At least trying to, you know? What we do know is that the chances of it coming back are pretty low. It wouldn't be a miracle, because it's already been in the game, but it would be a surprise to see it pop up again. Number 2. Emote muting. In 2016, Supercell announced that players would not be allowed to mute emotes. Here's what they said. Adding an option to mute or delete emotes is a highly requested change. However, we have no plans to implement this feature, and we want to explain why. They later explained that cards that evoke strong emotions are the best thing for Clash Royale. So if you love a card, someone else probably really hates it, and that's a good thing, I guess. This is the reason why emotes were here and you couldn't mute them. They said evoking strong emotions is at the heart of why we're not planning to implement a mute option. Emotes are loved by some and hated by others. Even within the Clash Royale team, we believe these strong emotions are integral to the core of the game. After this post though, can you guess how the community responded to this? Not so well. Not many people agree with Supercell on this, like at all. In fact, them agreeing that some people will hate the emotes probably even made it worse. They got some big backlash and close to no support. My stance on this back in the day though, I didn't really care. I just watched, so yeah, it's pretty fun. But anyways, a couple months later, they made this post called Rethinking Emotes, where they announced that they'd be adding a mute button due to the community's response. Back then, we kinda all saw this coming, because after so much hate and begging Supercell to change their mind, eventually, they're going to address the elephant in the room. I think Supercell made the right choice, and they handled it rather quickly. I mean, 2 months sounds like a while, but 2 months of not being able to meet emotes, that's not so bad. Number 3. $100 offer in the shop. When it comes to offers in the shop, how much is too much? Have you ever purchased a $5 pack? Me too. It wasn't that expensive, it's just $5, right? And they're usually worth it. But what about a $10 pack? Maybe $20? $50? See, now we're getting a bit too high, and buying a $50 pack is kind of like buying an entire new game. If you think $50 is insane though, there was once a $100 pack in Clash Royale. Yeah, $100. Now Supercell tried it out, but it's a little weird. It was in rotation for what seems to be level 13 players in Arena 12 or above. That's a very specific player base, but yeah. It also appeared to be that it only popped up from September 2018 to August 2019. But one day it just randomly stopped being given to players. It was never heard of again, and nobody ever saw it again, and nobody ever talked about it again. Supercell never even said anything about it, or acknowledge that it even existed. There's probably a reason for this, and I can't confirm any of them, but I do have some theories. Firstly, I think it didn't sell well. I mean, besides YouTubers making videos on it, how many people actually bought this? No one really knows the number, but it might be low due to its cost. $100 is no joke. Also, it was probably low in numbers because it only appeared for players at level 13 over Arena 12, and most players aren't there. The story of this offer is rather mysterious and filled with holes. We don't have much information on it, sadly, and that's about all we know. There was another offer similar to this one on Black Friday, but we can exclude that one. It seems like Supercell was testing the waters here with this pack, but maybe it just didn't work out for them. However, many people have pointed out this picture. This pack costing over $300. Unfortunately though, I regret to inform you, it's actually not over $300. That is in Mexican pesos. That converts to about, well, $20. It wasn't over $300. Others have also mentioned this one, and again, it's a different currency that equals to about 100 US. That is the same Black Friday deal we just mentioned. So, yeah. Number 4. The Executioner and Witch rework. On November 21st, 2019, Supercell made a post titled Reverting the Executioner and Witch Changes. But before we discuss this, what got them to this point? Why did they have to apologize? What happened? It all started during the Season 3 balance changes. So it was announced that the Executioner was getting a rework with these changes, and the Witch as well, practically losing her area damage. This wasn't final though, as there was an emergency nerf the last second before the balance changes went live. So you can already tell things weren't going well. The community hated the new changes, so Supercell was forced to take it back a bit. This went on for a while. The Executioner and Witch got a lot of changes during this time. It turned out that wasn't enough though, and for a few months, it was a nightmare. There was even a petition to revert the changes back, and that's exactly what happened. In this post, they stated the Witch and Executioner reworks were designed to get these cards into a solid winning position. But what we learn is that the metagame isn't so fun when tough, high damage range attackers are prevalent. In the next update coming this month, we have 2 major changes to walk back aspects of the recent reworks. So yeah, people didn't like the rework. It kinda turned into an Executioner Royale type of game. And the Witch, well, she lost one of her unique abilities. It was a horrible move. I can't blame Supercell though, because they were just trying to change things up a bit. After all, that's what we always ask for. We ask for new things, we ask them to change things up a bit. And they took that risk, but it just didn't work out this time. Number 5. Elite Barbarian launch and Royal Giant buff. I've combined these two together because they're sorta similar. These two cards were very OP at one point, and it was nerfed many times. But let's discuss them briefly one at a time. So the Royal Giant first. It was added back in Clash Royale's infancy. It was a terrible card, nobody used it, and you know, it was a bad card. But then Supercell gave it some love, probably too much. It received a damage increase of 20%, following it with a range increase later on. These two changes made it extremely powerful, and this went on for a while. Even after so many nerfs, it just couldn't be stopped. It was even made into a joke in the 2v2 chat. For a couple of years it was slowly nerfed, and then in early 2018 it was given its last blow, which made it an okay card. You know, nowadays it's not that big of a deal to deal with the Royal Giant. But we'll never forget the times where this card dominated the game, and Supercell took forever to fix the issue. Next up though, the Elite Barbarians. These two fellas have some bad history. It was added in November 2016, and it was an okay card. Maybe a bit too OP. But out of nowhere, this card received a buff. Yes, buff, as if it wasn't already hard to deal with. A buff. Clearly this didn't go well. I mean, if you were playing back in late 2016 and early 2017, you know how bad it was. You know how much hate this card had, and you know how much fire Clash Royale was under. It was terrible. I mean, just terrible. Now for the next 6 months after this buff, it slowly got nerfed. The same situation as the Royal GG. Very OP to the point where it needed multiple nerfs over months. After that, it was an okay card. But did Supercell really need that long to fix these cards? I'm not even sure. These two cards will go down in history as the worst card buffs of all time. Number 6. Season 8. Now, I'm a strong believer that every season is great, but I can't lie, not all have been extremely worth it. There were tons of Reddit posts and YouTube videos reacting to Season 8 in particular though, saying that it was lazy and a copy of Season 3. In my opinion, I don't consider that season to have been lazy or trash. I feel like they just needed more time to work on bigger and better content, and that's acceptable. But I do agree that it somewhat felt like a repeat of Season 3. I don't even think I bought the pass that month. I don't want to hate on Supercell, but you can ask anybody, and they'll probably say that Season 8 was their least favorite one, or at least they can agree that it was the most generic one. Not gonna lie though, the memes were pretty funny, so, you know, it made up for it. Number 7. The Ice Golem Rocket Glitch. Now this glitch goes all the way back to the Ice Golem's launch. It was October 2016, and man, it kind of feels like this was sooner. But no, it was actually all the way in 2016. The Ice Golem was a new card. Everything was going well until it wasn't. There was a game-breaking glitch, and when I say game-breaking, I actually mean that, because a lot of people say game-breaking and they're just trying to emphasize something, but no, this is literally game-breaking. If a player dropped an Expo, let's say, and then an Ice Golem next to it, if the enemy were to rocket that Expo, the outcome would be that the Ice Golem would be taken out, but the Expo was left completely untouched. The Expo was pretty much invisible. It may not seem like a huge deal, but to think that the Expo was sort of meta at the time, and you know, we didn't have all the cards we have today, this happened quite a lot, and it made the ladder kind of unreliable. And also, we only had ladders, so there was no 2v2, there was no clan wars, there was none of that, no party button. All we had was ladder and, well, challenges, but can you really count that in? So when was the glitch fixed? Was it quick? Well, kind of, but no. For the gravity of the situation, it wasn't resolved quick. It took about a month, and over time, yes, people learned to not bring rockets anymore because it was kind of useless. Everyone was bringing their mini P.E.K.K.A. and Expo, because I do believe that it worked with other troops as well, not just the Expo, so everyone was bringing anything with an Ice Golem. This was of course used by many to have an advantage, and it just wasn't a great time to be playing in October of 2016. So yeah, we'll never forget this, and the fact that it took quite a while to fix kind of made it worse. Number 8. Crown farming. You could once farm crowns with a private tournament. I don't blame Supercell for wanting to remove this and never talking about it again, because, I mean, it was basically an exploit. A shortcut if you want to call it that. It was used to gain crowns with no effort. Basically, this was back when the clan chest was still in the game. Since crowns from battles counted towards a clan chest, there was a need for tons of crowns. Players quickly found out that you could get crowns from private tournaments, and everyone quickly started to make videos, people were using it, and it just kind of broke the system. Just create a tournament with your friends and farm those crowns. It's that easy. On the other hand though, people complained that it should have been kept in the game because private tournaments at the time cost quite a bit of gems. So you were technically paying for crowns. Was it truly worth it though? I don't know. What I do know is that it's been long forgotten and it will probably never come back. And I'm fine with that. So guys, I think that should be it for this video. It's a bit longer than I thought it'd be, but I wanted to make sure I touched the most important details of every event. After all, this is a brief historical look into the past, and without the context, it's kind of hard to explain. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed though. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and as always, thanks for watching. Havoc Gaming out. Peace!